Hello everyone!
Hi guys!
So you might be wondering why there is this tracker on our driveway. You better stay tuned and find out. Right, well, we are trekking.
Star trekking.
So we really wanted to borrow a trekker from Swift because the video that we did where we went to Loudham's, we had a bit of a walkthrough of the trekker and all that kind of stuff, and you guys absolutely loved it, and there's been so many views of that video. We feel a bit guilty for not being able to actually drive one, stay in one, and give you our honest opinion about what the features which are fantastic in this van and the things which Swift might want to have a look at and think about improving in the future. So that's what we're going to do. The problem is, as all these things come together, we seem to have picked probably the worst weekend to do this. So it's fair to say it's December and this is going to be a proper test for the van. And why is that?
Storm Dara has just blown in. So it's currently here, we're up in the Midlands. It's drizzling, it's pretty windy. You might even be able to hear some of that if the mics aren't doing a particularly good job of noise cancelling. So I feel for you guys if you're over in Wales, the southwest. Hope you're all okay. We're going camping, if you can call it camping, in a van. I don't think we'll be putting the roof up this weekend. I think that's probably fairly safe to say. I think
Swift might have a few words with us if we try that.
I think we're going to be battening down the hatches, so to speak. But we're heading off down to the Cotswolds, so we're not heading over to the west of Wales, thankfully.
Morton in the Marsh.
Morton in the Marsh. Just got a night away down there, the Caravan and Motorhome Club campsite, which I think is open all year round, which we have been to.
It is.
Once or twice before as well. So
better
I'm
get
just
on
going
with
to deal with this junction and then we can get on with it.
Right, let's have a quick check-in then. Sarah's been driving for about 20 minutes now. First impressions, what do you think of it?
It's a good drive, nice and peppy. I just literally pressed resume on the cruise control and we got there very quickly. There was no hanging about there at all. Nice steering, feels very Ford-like for any of you who have had experience with Ford cars at all. They're pretty good to drive. I had Fiestas for many a year as a driving instructor, and it's obviously clearly substantially larger than a Ford Fiesta, but it's got that similar kind of feel to it coming through. I think the only thing that is a slight negative at the moment, and this is not anything that Ford have done, it's these blinds that have been fitted onto the windows. So I know a lot of you are really pro these kind of fitted blinds that go in the windscreen and on the windows. It's dead easy when you get to a campsite. The challenge that we've got here is that these ones that they've put on the side doors, they've built the bottom of the top of the door up by about 3-4 inches, maybe 3 inches, something like that, and the A-pillar by probably another 2 inches. And when you're short, I'm 5'1" and a bit, and you end up pulling your seat quite a long way forward and sitting relatively low so your feet can touch the floor. It's basically made this A-pillar quite challenging to see around. So when you're going around twisty bends in a small village, and on the passenger side, so on the near side, it's really challenged me in terms of being able to have any mirror to use. So the little mirror that you get on these bigger vans, so you get a big side mirror and then you always get this little one at the bottom to try and help you see where the rear wheel is, where the curb is, anything like blind spot, etc. Unusable. Can't see anything in that at all. So I'm having to rely totally on the big mirror, which mostly half of it has about been taken up by that extra built-up bit of the door blind, and I've had to angle it down really low so that I can see something, but I can't really see much going on in that lane to the left of me at all. So in terms of blind spot, which is quite important when you're on motorways, a bit challenging. I think I'll struggle to park it But we shall see. And no snide comments about women and parking, thank you very much. Ex-driving instructor here, I'm very good at parking.
Well, you've not bashed our van yet.
I've not bashed our van, I've not bashed my car, and I'll happily have a park off with anybody. So there's the challenge going down. I can parallel park like a demon.
So this has got front and rear parking sensors standard.
Yeah.
This is a 2024 model. It doesn't have a reversing camera, but the new 2025 version of this does have a reversing camera.
That'll be good.
And that actually, it does make a big difference. I know lots of people who haven't ever had a reversing camera are a bit kind of like, well, is it really necessary? Trust me, once you've had one, it's really handy.
It's not necessary.
It's just nice.
It's nice to have for that extra bit of...
It's a bit of extra confirmation, isn't it, when you're reversing, definitely.
Yeah, and when you're trying to get a longer van in particular, into a standard kind of car parking space, and you're trying to overhang a bit of grass or something behind you so that the van is in the space with just that little bit of overhang out the back, it makes it a lot easier to try and judge that kind of thing too.
How's the wrestling of the steering wheel going in the wind?
It's blooming windy. We're camping in, or we're driving through Storm Dara, and no, we're not down in the red weather warning bit. We've not been advised not to drive or anything like that. We're in yellow weather warning territory, but it's very gusty.
Always, I think it always reminds you that you're driving a quite a high-sided vehicle. You know, the pop top on this adds a bit of extra height, and if you've seen a normal Ford Transit, you'll know that they're quite a high van anyway. And I will just double check, but I think this is about 3 meters. In height, so it's not far off California Grand 600 with the high roof.
Oh, wow.
So I think it's quite a high van. I do need to double check, but it definitely feels high when we saw it on the driveway. Definitely higher than our Sven, that's for sure.
But strangely, the driving position is actually lower than our Sven.
It is.
So it feels more like a getting in.
It does.
Rather than getting on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't kind of feel like you're towering over the SUVs or something that's going along past you.
Yeah. I think probably the only other thing I noticed as soon as we jumped in, because it'd been sitting on the driveway, it's obviously cold when we got in, it doesn't have heated seats, it doesn't have heated steering wheel, the climate control isn't climate control, it's the normal heating system with air conditioning, which is absolutely fine.
It does work.
It does work, it's lovely and warm in here. So yeah. All good so far.
But it does have heated windscreen.
Yeah.
And that, for any of you who have ever had a Ford with their heated windscreens, they're brilliant.
It is brilliant.
So that clearing of any kind of condensation or mist on the inside of the windscreen,
very quick.
Gone really quick. Any kind of ice on the windscreen, gone. It's superb. Yeah. I really wish more manufacturers fitted them as standard.
Yeah, and all the automatic wipers and headlights, and I drove it home in the dark yesterday. It's got automatic high beam and everything. All of that's absolutely fine. It looks really good so far. Normal cruise control as well, and a speed limiter. It's doing the job perfectly.
Yeah.
So here we are. We've arrived in Morton, and Sarah's managed to squeeze it into a space here. So we're able to just wait. We're a little bit early, 15 minutes early to the campsite. We can only check in from 1 o'clock, so we have to just wait a few minutes. They get a bit grumpy if you get there a bit early. But yeah, you can see, actually, being a 6-meter van, they're not as big as you think. You might go into a showroom and have a look at one and think, wow, that's much bigger. But actually, somewhere like this with Morton, where you've got some spaces which aren't marked out, it's quite straightforward to be able to just find a little space to stop. So we finally got on a pitch, all good. Time to get the hookup cable out. Now, interestingly, in here, there are drawers and cupboards which are underneath the bed. Now, I think this has been designed much more to have the bed out the way almost all the time, so you can access the storage underneath, because the hookup cable that Swift have lent us with this is in one of the drawers underneath the bed. And obviously, being prepared like I am, I've set the bed up ready to go, kind of like we do in our own van, but actually that means that I'm going to have to kneel down under here and try and feel my way with these drawers to be, see, there you go, look, that's where the hookup cable is, in this drawer underneath here, and I'm not sure I can't get that out.
You need to lift the bed up.
I'm going to have to lift the bed out of the way to be able to get something out of that drawer. Cut. All I say is, to start with, it's a good job it's not raining at the minute, otherwise everything would be getting soaking wet. So we've got the table, which is an absolute monster, as they always are. Why do they make these so heavy? So I'm going to have to get that out of the way to start with, and I'll just put that under here. It's going to have to go with the bottom sheet, which is going to have to go, which is all a bit annoying, really, if I'm honest. So we've got a piece here which lifts up out the way. So I'll do that, and there's a clip on the back here which holds it up out the way. Then you've got another bit here, which I probably don't need to move that much. These are held in with magnets, so you can just pull them out of the way. Now, ta-da! Is it really practical? Maybe, and we're just missing something, but, you know, or maybe it's just because the fact that they put the hookup cable in that drawer, which wasn't really helpful.
Say, if it was in a bottom drawer,
if it was in that
fine,
one,
wouldn't you?
it would be okay, but who knows? And your ladder, just while I'm back here, the ladder for upstairs to get into the roof is here with the cranking handle for the awning, which we're definitely not putting out in this wind.
Definitely not.
But again, if you've got this bed out, are you really going to be able to get that out?
You might just about, mightn't you?
It definitely feels like it's designed just to have the bed away most of the time, which I think defeats the object a little bit of having a fixed rear bed, because I don't want to be faffing with this all the time if I can help it. So anyway, what I'll do is I'm going to put these back in here like that, which is quite a neat solution. Pop all this down. Sarah can then make the bed while I do the hookup cable. So one thing I forgot to do when I was at the back was to turn the hot water on. So you have to do that from the back of the van. Let me show you. Yes, so the hot water is underneath the bed in this cupboard. And it's actually, let me just fold this down out the way. It's actually here. So this is your hot water control, and you've got a gas control on this side that you can turn on and off, and on the other side is the electric control. So I'm going to put it on 2, which means it'll heat up nice and quickly on electric, because we're on electric hookup. Right, let's get a brew on then. All the bed and everything is now sorted, which is good. Trying to remember, yes, here we are, look. Brought the kettle and everything. Yeah, so in here we've got a twin burner hob, which is pretty standard really, although I say that, there's more campers coming out these days with a single hob, which is slightly strange.
Or with induction.
Or with induction, that's true. So let's fill this up. Obviously the van has also got, first mistake, you see, need to turn the water pump on.
Water.
So up here, you've got this control panel in the tracker. And if you go in here, let me do this a bit slower. So you got lighting, all your power stuff and everything else. That tells you what temperature it is. 20 degrees in there apparently. 6 outside. Ugh. You go to water. This gives you your level of your freshwater tank, wastewater tank. It's where you turn the pump on. So very important. Nice and simple. Lighting and stuff in here. You can turn the lights on and off, and you've got other lighting, awning light outside. I'll leave that on for later. So yeah, nice and straightforward. This one here, if you're wondering, this is your heater. So you've got mains powered heating for when you're on hookup at 3 different levels. And as you can see, we've got it on full whack with all 3 levels switched on. And then if we wanted gas, you can turn the gas on. Turn the gas on as well. You can have both on at the same time, so gas and electric heating if you want it to really warm up quickly. So it's obviously got air-based heating in the van, which you can see the little vents and stuff by the floor there. So I'm just going to fill this kettle up. Now I do like this hob in here because it's got much better pot stands. They're actually they're not as smooth. They're
cast iron.
Little bit rough. Yeah, I think they're cast iron, aren't they? Which does mean that your pan doesn't wander off when you set it up there. So yeah, there we go. Oh, you can't beat a good bit of lunch to go with your tea, can you? What's for lunch today? Tea cakes. Perfect.
Not exactly a particularly wholesome lunch, is it? But there we go.
Now, considering we don't have an oven or a grill or anything like that in our van, we thought actually this would be a great opportunity to try this bad boy out because it's just a different thing for us, isn't it? And so we haven't bothered to bring a toaster or any of the other stuff with us this time. So we're going to give this grill a go and see how we get on. We've got something that we're going to oven for dinner as well, haven't we? Some meatballs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to really give this a good try. I think one thing I've noticed is actually these cupboards above the kitchen. I mean, they're great in terms of space because we've shoved loads of stuff in these. Just open this one up. So we've got all sorts in here, and it's a nice big cupboard. It does make it feel just slightly claustrophobic. It certainly does for me. Maybe it'd be.
I think for me, if I'm doing some washing up, they're out of my eye line, but I can see for Will if heads up here.
Yeah, it feels quite tight. And to be able to video this, I've literally wedged myself in between the fridge and the toilet, and it does feel quite narrow back here. But I suppose it's all a trade-off, isn't it? Because they've got the toilet and shower in here is big, and I'll find out tomorrow morning when I give that a go for a shower. So yeah, there is so many cupboards in here. There really is. I mean, there's a really big tall cupboard there, which
dog towels, pair of Crocs, controversial.
Loads of stuff in there. You've got obviously down at the bottom here, a couple more drawers there. There's a ton of drawers just behind me here. It's absolutely packed with storage. Right, so you've got the job to do this then. What are we doing?
So I'm going to want it on grill. So I'm assuming I turn this.
Okay.
And then, an igniter. There's a little switch down there. I'm going to hold on to that for a few seconds.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go. And I can see just in the reflection of this.
Boom, look at that.
Metal pan thing down here.
Superb.
That it's on. So
right.
I'm assuming.
Whack them in.
Whack these in.
Oh yeah. I can see this is going to work well. Well, look at that lot. You've done a sterling job there.
Yeah, pretty good. That little spinny table thing in the grill, actually quite handy. I was all a little bit confused about that to start with, but it makes sense because you wouldn't want to be pulling it in and out.
Are we going to be grill converts?
Maybe.
It's actually really handy. Really handy. So yeah, nice cup of tea, good tea cake. It's all going through pretty well so far, really, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it. Right then, let's have a bit of a talk about what you actually get with a Trekker. So, in the front of this Trekker X, obviously you get this fantastic upholstery. It's kind of this combination between this nice kind of fabric material and the leather in the centre. Or kind of, I'm not sure whether it's actually leather or it's kind of leatherette. Difficult to tell, and that's probably a good thing. Probably means it's leatherette, but actually it's very nice all the same. Very comfortable front seats, very adjustable. So you've got height adjustment, you've got the front which can adjust up and down as well, and obviously double armrests and all that kind of stuff on here, which makes it really comfortable. Obviously both of them spin round as they are here. When you sit in these seats and they're spun round, there's actually some really nice touches, like you've got little lights up at the top here on both sides. So if you're sitting here reading, that kind of thing, obviously got good reading lights there. You can probably see above me just here, you've got a normal kind of cab shelf, which obviously it's big enough. I mean, that's a big old box of tissues, and you can use that up there. You can put coats and that kind of stuff. That's what we tend to do with ours. If you've got a raincoat or something, just roll it up and stick them up there. It's quite nice and handy. Yeah, so nice place to be in the cab area here. Obviously you've got height adjustment on all your seat belts and everything. All of that kind of stuff you'd expect out of a modern base fan anyway. Sarah was obviously talking about the window blinds and things that are on the doors and on the windscreen. We'll show you those a bit more later when we get ready to go to bed. And yeah, it's a really, really good place to be. There's air vents from the camping heating system, which come out of the front of the bench seat and point towards you when you're sitting in the front seats here. So that's really good. Lots of pockets for different bits and pieces. Door pockets on the actual cab doors are a bit lacking. And that's a Ford thing, so that isn't a Swift issue. But there's one door pocket right at the bottom, which is quite hard to get at when you're in the seat facing the other way. But there's nothing further up. So I think on the MAN and the Crafter doors, there's 3 different levels of pocket on the door, and we use them loads, which is a bit of a shame there's not a bit more on the door here. Plenty of cup holders though in the dashboard, and they do have rubber inserts straight from the factory as well. So those big kind of expanses of area where you'd usually put your sunglasses or stuff when you're traveling along, just on the top of the dashboard, they do have rubber inserts. It stops all your stuff rolling around. So that's really, really decent. Underneath that bench seat, there's no storage under there because that's where your leisure battery and all of the main electronics for the van are, so the charger and all the main isolator switch and all that kind of stuff. It's got a Sargent unit in there. All of that's underneath the seat. Now there is an easy access panel. You can just lift up the base of the seat, open up the access panel, and you need to be able to do that to turn all the electrics off if you are leaving the van for a little while. So if we look straight up from the cab area, that's what you get. So that is the pop top up there. It does have that really nice Dometic window, which does open as well, and it's got blinds, both fly screens and normal privacy blinds on there as well. Right, pop top up, let's have a look. Thankfully the storm has abated enough to be able to put the pop top on. I wasn't quite sure we were going to manage it, but it seems to have got a lot better. So you get this ladder, which I've got out the back. It clips on here, like so, which obviously doesn't give you a huge amount of space to negotiate it, but it is wider. I can actually get both feet on this. It is wider than the one for the bed at the back. Right, so if Sarah passes me the camera, I can show you what we've got up here. And look at this, this is massive. So underneath here, we've also got decent springs as well, good mattress. You've got zip out window pieces on the side here. Obviously you've got your roof window as well. I think there's some pretty good lighting in here as well. Let me have a look. You've got a light switch here, so you've got that, and that means it's got really nice funky lighting all the way around, which is very good. And it's also got more USBs. Nice little trays here to be able to put your phone and stuff. They've really thought about the design of this. And I tell you what, this is big. This bed is much bigger than the one downstairs. So I'm 186, feet aren't anywhere near the bottom and nowhere near the top here either. And it's wide too. This is a really big pop top. So now that we've been out for a quick drink down here in Morton in the Marsh, it's time to come back and sort out our dinner. So meatballs in the oven. Yes, let's see how we get on cooking our dinner in the oven. It says 30 minutes, gas mark 6. Never used a gas oven before. I'm sure it'll be fine. Let's see how we get on. So we're getting sorted for dinner, and we've sorted all the blinds out. So we've got cab blind in place, all the door blinds are there, and we've sorted out all of the ones for the living area as well. Roxy's found a new little hole look underneath the bed, which is an interesting one because there's no divider, is there, between the garage area and the van.
And I do wonder whether she's going to be there overnight because it's that little bit cooler under there, and she's not a dog who likes the warmth.
Well, it's a little bit close to us as well.
And close to us.
She does like
I
that.
doubt that's got anything to do with it.
It is a good point though. If you're carrying different loads and things in the garage area in between the cupboards and stuff, just remember there isn't a partition there. So if you brake hard, anything that you've got in there is going to come flying forwards. So you might have to make something up yourself or sort that out if you're thinking about carrying different things in the boot area.
There are a couple of little eye things, so you can tie things down or strap them down into the boot area back there. You've probably noticed that we've put up the incredibly robust table.
Look how thick that is.
This is not going anywhere. If anything happens, it's going to rip the side trim off the van before the table comes to any harm in here.
It's very solid.
It's very, very solid. And oddly, I mean, I've pumped this seat up probably about 20 times now, something like that. And I think it must have raised itself by about 20 mil in that time, and I'm still feeling quite childish at the table, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
We'll have to see how I look when I have my dinner in here in a bit opposite you, but we've cleared the bench seat, so this is the normal kind of dinner setup in here, and it's not bad, you know. I think a lot of people, when they look at this in the showroom and things, think it looks a bit tight, but once you've got that driver's seat turned round, actually it's fine. There's no issue with this at all. We're not the smallest of people, and actually it seemed perfectly adequate. There is this little mini ladder. It does hook onto the bed. So if I just show you there, you can see that it's actually secured on, and that is the way that you get into the bed. Oh yeah, we've got it all going on in the kitchen now. So we've got the pasta on, we've got the peas ready to go, and incidentally, peas, frozen peas, because this fridge here has got a freezer box, and that's pretty cool. It's one of these Dometic fridges which can open both ways, so that way, that way. I'm not quite sure what happens if you open both handles. Probably the whole door comes off, so I'm not going to try that. But yeah, really decent sized fridge in here. You can see that we've got all of our milk and beer and Tim Tams and all of that kind of stuff in here. But yeah, decent sized freezer box in there. So we did decide to bring some frozen peas with us this time. So actually, this is quite a novel experience for us in a van, because we've never had a van with a freezer, we've never had a van with an oven, and actually, this is going to be quite a normal kind of meal that we would normally have at home. So we've got meatballs in the oven, we've got pasta cooking on the hob, we've got frozen peas which we're going to cook. Yeah, looking pretty good.
Well, hasn't he done a cracking job?
I've tried my best. I've tried my best. The proof is going to be in the eating, obviously.
It's steaming.
But I tell you what, that is looking all right. That, very impressed. And that oven, you know what?
When you switch it on, it works a treat. Dinner is about 20 minutes later than originally planned, but it looks good.
Well, you know. Right, so that's the end of the day then. Time to get some kip and some shut-eye. Good sized bed in this, I have to say. So I'm about 186 tall, something like that. This bed is technically 185 long crossways across the van, and 135 I think it is widthways. We've used a standard double bottom sheet on this, and it's absolutely fine. And when I've had a lie down in here, I think it might be a bit bigger than 185, because my feet don't quite touch the end with my head touching the other end, so I think it's a bit bigger than that. Nice lighting in here too. Obviously got this orange kind of lighting around this headboard, which is nicely padded and stuff at the end here. And there's a couple of light switches here, one which does this orange lighting, the other one which does the main lighting in the van, which is a bit much, to be honest, and you can't control the dimmer, I don't think, from here either. Just double check. No, doesn't look like it. It's just literally on or off, and it's a bit bright, to be honest. Could do with a bit of a dimmer control on that. But there is some USBs there, but there isn't like a pocket for your phone or anything if you're charging. So we've put it on this shelf right at the top here, which is a bit, well, I hope Sarah doesn't swipe this cable in the middle of the night. We'll have to see. Might have a phone crashing down on my head. But it's time for some shut-eye. See you in the morning. Right, I'm just getting ready to have a shower this morning then, and as you can see, we've got a duct board in here. Going to take that out, and it's got 2 drain holes, which is good. Obviously it's got this funky cover for the toilet roll as well, so that's not going to get wet. You can see that's a fold-up sink straight in front of us there, and that's really handy. And obviously pretty decent lighting in here too, so yeah. Hopefully shouldn't be too bad. No shower curtain by the looks of it. Just shut the door and off you go. So yeah, let's see how we get on. Now I've put all this bed up like this, I think I might be starting to understand how they expect you to use this van. I don't think they're expecting you to leave this bed down all the time. So it's a semi-fixed bed, I would say. The reason I say that is because with it up out the way like this, you've actually got a bit of surface here on both sides, which is really helpful. But you've actually got plenty of space to be able to stand, dry yourself off if you've had a shower, get dressed, kind of just generally move around. This is actually a really good open space. And when I had a shower just now, I was standing in between the fridge and the shower cubicle, kind of trying to dry myself and everything. Sarah was at the front with the dog, and it was all felt really cramped. Whereas we were obviously both out of bed. So why didn't we just do this with the bed and then have all this space at the back here? I mean, okay, it's not a living area because that would be the Trekker XL with its 2 rear lounge seats. But actually, as a living solution, this isn't half bad, you know. I'm starting to get in tune with this van. So if you're wondering about how effective these cab lines are, they're very effective at privacy, much less effective at handling condensation. So yeah, we got quite a lot of condensation this morning. Not really surprising. Sarah hasn't dried her hair or anything in here though, but I've had a shower. Sarah went to the shower block. But yes, it's quite misted up in here. That Ford electric windscreen's going to come in very handy this morning, I think. So we're all packed up and we're back on the move again, and it's time to get a second opinion on this Trekker. So we're going to go and meet Carl and Kath for lunch. And you might remember Carl, he's featured on the channel before with his T6 California Ocean. He's owned that for quite a few years now. So with this being a pop top but a bigger van, it'll be really interesting to get his take on exactly what he thinks to this layout. So yeah, let's go and grab our Christmas lunch with Carl and Kath. Let's get his views on this van. Right, Carl, good to see you.
How you doing? All right.
Very good, very good. Right, now you've had a few minutes looking around this Trekker. I don't think you've ever seen one of these before, have you?
No, I've seen your videos of previous vans, similar vans. I actually think for us, this would probably be our next step from our Cali.
Bigger van.
Yeah. We were looking at it earlier on in the year.
Yeah.
We looked at it, when you ordered your Sven, that we looked at it as well. And we are of the opinion that we haven't really outgrown our Cali yet.
Yeah.
We love our Cali.
Yeah.
But this would be the next size up for us, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And the beauty of it now is there's so many different versions of the layout being put about. All the manufacturers are concentrating on this, I think.
They are. This kind of 6 metre van, I think in all the different makes of base van, they're trying everything, aren't they? Whether it's rear lounge, rear bed, pop top, no pop top, there's kind of all sorts now, isn't there?
Yeah, and actually when I got in this, I actually thought it was a 2-berth design.
You did? Yeah. The bed's up at the back.
And it got me quite excited, really, because I'd like a manufacturer to create a 2-berth, because there's only 2 of us who go camping. A lot of them are 2+2 or a 4. Yeah. But yeah, we love sleeping in the pop top, so that'll be a big plus for us.
Yeah.
It's
so you want a rear lounge with a pop top?
Yeah.
You see.
I think I think they're missing the trick. I think there are a lot of couples out there that want the space in the day, but don't mind sleeping in a pop top. I think, it would be nice to be able to convert it to a fixed bed in the back if you needed to, because it was too windy. Yeah. But I'm sure the beauty of these bigger, stronger pop tops is that
a bit stronger. Yeah. And it's really big up there as well. I went up there earlier on and had a lay down. I think it's over 2 meters long and 130 wide, so it's bigger than a California pop top when you're up there. So it's good. So what are your first impressions though when you came in here? What do you think to what they've done with this?
I think maybe there's a few too many cupboards. That's the negative. Okay. I love these seats.
They're good, aren't they?
These seats are really lovely, actually. Quite comfortable. It's the first time I've sat in it. But I just think the cupboard just by the door, that's probably, for me, because I'm quite tall. Yeah. I don't know whether you had the same thing, but I think that the cupboard, the bathroom's amazing. Oh,
it's big, isn't it?
Yeah, the bathroom is just amazing. I've seen some of the shows and they're quite small. Yeah. Build quality is good. Yeah. It's good. It's well made. I haven't driven it, obviously, or I don't know what the squeaks and the rattles are like. You know what Will and I are very...
There's a little Tweety Pie noise, which I've not managed to fix.
Yeah, we do have an unhealthy thing about squeaks. I don't like them at all. But yeah, honestly, well equipped. There's loads of lighting in here, isn't there?
Yeah, it's great.
Which should be, this time of year, it's quite dark outside. Yeah. It's good.
I think value-wise, value is really difficult to talk about on the channel, and you know, every time we talk about, you know, good value, you know, all that kind of stuff, we get berated in the comments because, you know, you can't say something at 75 grand is good value, but comparatively in the market, and I mean, just got to put this in context, you can buy panel vans like this up to 100 grand. You know, the Adria Twin Max is 120 grand, and that is a van. That's not a pop top or anything. That's a 6.8 metre crafter. You know, this is 75. And then there's everything in between, really, in terms of price range. Our Sven now retails at about 95, I think, something like that. So for 20 grand less than a Sven, you've basically got all the same stuff plus a pop top.
Yeah.
You know, that's how you, if you were looking at it on paper, ticking stuff off, you know, that's a big saving over some of the vans out there.
I think I saw it at the shows. I think that sort of 70 to 80 mark now, there's quite a lot to compare.
There is.
So it's easy to compare what works for you. There's quite a few variants of it, different layouts, different spec levels. So I think this is, if you're coming out of a Calais, maybe this is where you might want to head to have a look at, I think.
Yeah, if you don't want to add another 10, 20, 30k on top of your cost of your Calais, you know, these are the equivalents, aren't they? And it's obviously a much bigger van for the money.
Yeah. And what does it drive like?
It actually drives really well. I was actually quite surprised, because I don't know why I should be surprised, because Fords do usually drive quite well, but I was actually really surprised. So this is a 170 horsepower 2-litre diesel. It's got I think it's a 6-speed automatic box on this.
Oh, okay,
and it's absolutely fine, nice and smooth. And actually the ride, it doesn't crash over anything. It doesn't feel too heavy.
Oh, that's what you want in a camper van, isn't it?
It's actually really quite comfortable. There's a bit of wind noise because of how tall it is.
You
know, definitely more wind noise than a California, for example. But actually, ride, I was really quite impressed.
Well, I remember the first time I drove a Ford Custom Transit, and I got in and I thought, oh, it drives just like a Fiesta.
Yeah, and I'd say this is like a big Fiesta. This is like a big Fiesta. Yeah, I'd agree.
And it's nice. There's lots of room here. The seats turn without opening the doors. Again, that's a positive, isn't it? There's lots of positives, definitely. But the lighting is definitely a plus for me. Because it's quite dark. It's quite dark panelled.
Yeah, they've gone for a kind of a blackish kind of interior, haven't they?
In this particular one. But yeah, it's good. The cupboards are quite nice and light. Suits my tastes, really.
It's nice and modern.
Yeah, it suits my tastes, definitely. So easy to clean, keeps it clean. Like the dark carpet that I've put down, so because you had the dog in here. So,
it's all good.
We all know we can't keep the van spotless when you're out and about, can you?
Not this time of year.
It just doesn't work, does it? Any time of year, it's always something. Grass, they've just cut the grass on the campsite. And
you need something that you can take out and just shake out or whatever.
Honestly, it feels like the door felt nice when I got in. Nice step, perfect size step. So no complaints really. And I've noticed Sarah's taken advantage of the charger.
She's
but that's handy, isn't it, when you've got stuff like that floating about? That's really good. But
I think they've put a lot of thought into it, that's for sure.
Definitely. But I think the biggest win for me is the size of that bathroom.
It's good.
That's really good. And to be fair, you've got a nice sized garage area at the back there. So if you were just transporting your bikes to a campsite, that's dead easy, isn't it? And then you just take them out, lock them up outside your van.
Bed up.
Bed up, and you're set for a good long bank holiday weekend or whatever. Really nice. Really lovely.
Great stuff. We're going to go and eat now.
Yeah, I'm starving.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Carl.
Thanks.
Well, I don't think we could have picked a worse weekend weather-wise for this trip, could we?
We have been tested.
Wow.
Certainly. The route home was even... there was a vehicle on its side. I hope they're okay. Lots of standing water. Yeah,
it's just like thrashing rain, loads of wind, dark. Oh, honestly, horrible.
Yeah.
But it's been made better by being in this van, I think.
Yeah.
It's actually a really pleasant place to spend some time, even if you're forced to stay inside it by the weather. So all of this stuff in the a lot of the magazines talk about, you know, all this kind of multi-room living stuff, outdoors, indoors, you know, all these different areas in your van and stuff. Forget all of that. This time of year, you're basically going to be in your van.
It's indoors, isn't it?
It's indoors. And actually, although this has got a fairly compact front living area, with that bed pushed apart at the back in the way that we discovered right at the end of the trip, really.
Kind of like a butterfly sort of idea, isn't it?
Actually, that does give you quite a lot of space back there, because this time of year, you're probably not going to be taking all of your outdoor table and chairs and all the other stuff with you. So it is quite a big space to be able to dry yourself, get dressed, get ready, you know, towel the dog off, whatever. It's actually quite a good space there.
Yeah. It is just one to be aware of, though, that you haven't then, or if you're planning on using that space, obviously, if your stuff that you're taking with you doesn't fit in the cupboards, you have a challenge.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd do a quick 5 things that we really like about this van, and another 5 things which we think could possibly be better.
Yeah.
They're not bad, but just could be possibly better.
Yes.
And we've written them down because, like we said in our last video, memories are going these days. So,
speak for yourself.
all right, off you go then. You list them off. So, good things. Big shower room.
It is a really big shower room.
Big shower room.
Shower and toilet space. Yeah, no problem. Just standing up, turning round.
Easy.
Speaks for itself.
Easy to have a shower. No curtain or anything. Nice.
Yeah.
Really,
simple.
really works well. It's good to drive.
It is. Yeah. Feels typically Ford-esque, and for anybody who's driven Fords before, I think you'll probably know what I'm saying there.
Yeah.
It feels quite nice and peppy.
Handles well.
Handles well.
Ride's good.
Yeah, ride is good actually.
Yeah.
Feels a bit more car-like than some of the vans out there.
Yeah. No, it's good. Yeah, really like that. Lots of USBs and power sockets and that kind of stuff dotted around everywhere, and a mixture of USB-C and USB-A as well, which is really good. Shows that this is quite a modern design, really. But they're in places that you'd want them to be, next to the bed, some here in the bench seat, on the end of the kitchen. They all seem to be in pretty decent places and stuff. Lots on the dashboard and stuff as well. Like
lots
all
of good cubby holes on that dashboard as a kind of secondary for it as well.
Yeah.
Places to put your phone if it's charging
Apart
and
from the
things
bed,
like that.
which
Apart
is
from
a
the
bit
bed,
weird.
so yeah, I went to sleep with a cable kind of cutting across my face.
The radio in the dashboard has a little switch on the top of the dashboard. And when you press that switch, it allows you to run the radio for the whole van from the leisure batteries.
That is good.
That's genius.
It is.
Really like that. Speakers in the back as well from the same radio. So you can listen to the radio, all good. On the evening, it doesn't switch off after 30 minutes or any of that kind of stuff, which you get with some of the OEM radios and stuff. I was a bit sceptical because it's an aftermarket head unit fitted by Swift in this.
Works fine.
It works. Yeah, like
Apple
that.
CarPlay, absolutely fine on it.
All works.
Yeah.
And DAB, no problem whatsoever. Somebody had mentioned to me that they were having problems with their Trekker driving along and DAB reception and stuff.
We've not had a problem.
We've done hundreds of miles in this over the weekend, and it's never been a problem. Absolutely rock solid. And finally, loads of storage.
There is a lot of storage. To the point that you might forget where you've actually put something because there's so many different cupboards and cubby holes. And I mean, there's the fabric zip thing that's up here, drawers and very
everywhere. Like above the cab, everywhere there is storage. It's like when they did the design brief for this, number 1 or number 2 was must have a lot of storage. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Right, things that they could improve then.
Yep.
The ladder for the bed is too narrow.
The one to get this is to get into the bed at the back, so not the one for the pop top. That's a decent size, but it is teeny tiny.
Yeah, you can't get 2 feet on a rung. It's kind of one, and it makes it really awkward to get up there. So I think it's either scrap the ladder altogether and have some kind of step mechanism, or make the ladder better. The one for the pop top is wider, is better. I know even then some people aftermarket with their Trekkers buy different ladders and stuff. We didn't have a problem with it. It was absolutely fine. Cupboards underneath the bed can be difficult to get into. We talked about that right at the start of this video. Still stand by that. If you've got the bed made up, it's really hard to get things in and out of the cupboards back there. So I think this Trekker is basically designed to have the bed in its away position all of the time, unless you're in bed. Basically, if you work on that basis, you won't be disappointed. We came into this van thinking basically it's a fixed rear bed. Let's go with it, and it's not really designed to do that.
No, but if you when you work with it, then
it's okay.
It's fine.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Visibility for the passenger side when you're driving. And you talked about this in the very first video.
I did.
When you were
at some length. I do apologise about that. But yeah, it's those blinds have made it really challenging to be able to see out of the windows. And if you look from the outside in, you can really see quite how much of the window has been covered up
big chunk
by the fixed nature of the blinds in those windows.
Which means that a normal Transit, not converted into a camper van with blinds everywhere and everything else, it would have really good visibility.
Perfect. Yeah.
The mirrors are perfect for it. Just not great when you've got those window blinds. Only one window opens in the back, and I think that could be a problem in summer. So the bedding area at the back, there's one little teeny window which opens out, which is good. The rear windows are the standard Transit windows. They don't open at all. They've just got blinds on. There's no roof vent because you've got a pop top. So if you're trying to sleep back there in summer, you're not going to have much airflow back there, and it could get quite stifling.
But on the flip side, you have got a pop top.
Yes.
So if there's only the two of you, there's nothing to stop you sleeping up there. And
unzip the sides, get some airflow through the mesh and
if
stuff.
There's four, someone's going to be sleeping in the hot box.
Could be hot back there. Yeah, could be warm. And finally, I think they could probably lose the cupboards above the sink. There's loads of storage in this, and I find them quite claustrophobic. And when I'm trying to do the washing up or use the hob and that kind of stuff, I think they're a bit unnecessary, personally. You don't have a problem because you're a bit shorter than me.
Yeah, I mean, my eye line is below them, so I don't really even see that they're there. But Will, obviously being a good head higher than me, is looking straight into a cupboard when he's trying to do the washing up. So yeah, they could make them probably half the size.
Bit shallower
if they wanted to keep something up there, because it's quite nice to have the little lights underneath them as well. But and I think that's probably my only other comment about the cupboards. Some of the doors are massive on the cupboard doors, and you're kind of like trying to move yourself out of the way because it's a really big cupboard door. But that's what you get when you get lots of storage.
It is. So there you go. That's our top 5, both things we love about this van and things that we think could possibly improve for a future version. So there you go. Overall conclusion, great van. We still stand by our good value when you compare it to the rest of the market. I think it still is it looks like really good value. Definitely have a look at one of these if you're in the market for a 6-metre van. Remember, they do this in the shorter 5.4, 5.5.
It's about 5.5, isn't it?
It's the Trekker. This is the Trekker X, which is a 6-metre, and they do the rear lounge version, which we've done the video on as well, and that's a 6-metre, but with obviously a rear lounge, not a rear fixed bed or semi-fixed bed.
Yeah.
So there you go. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Thanks very much for watching this video. Again, quite a lengthy video, but we do try to kind of cover all bases of these. If you're thinking about possibly renting, buying one of these vans, you want to know the warts and all, don't you? Yeah, and we do try to give you that on the channel. So apologies if we've lost you halfway through with our tea making or whatever, but hopefully if you've stuck it through to the end, you've got what you need from this video. Great to have you along with us. Please do check out our other videos. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you again soon for some more Campervan Time.